Jai Hind children, hoping that all of you are very good. In today we are proceeding with the another topic of chemical properties of non-metal. Okay, so first we have done electronegative character, second we have done reaction with oxygen, and third we have done reaction with halogen. So since we have completed these three topics, today we are going to study another topic called as in which non-metal reacts with hydrogen. So now what is there in this? See, non-metal reacts with hydrogen to form covalent hydride. Now what do you mean by covalent hydride? See, hydride means the compound which are formed by with the help of hydrogen. Okay, thus in the hydrides of non-metal, hydrogen is bonded to the non-metal by covalent bond. Now this is your answer why it is called covalent hydride. So this covalent means it is a type of a bond which in which non-metal bonds with hydrogen. Okay, see, let's read the next statement. The hydride of non-metal do not conduct electricity. Very important. The hydride of non-metal do not conduct electricity. Now we are going to read about it, then you will understand ahead. See, the hydrides of non-metal may be acidic, basic or neutral depending upon the nature of the non-metal. So it can be acidic also, it can be basic also, and it can be your neutral also. Let us take the example and understand with the help of example. Sulfur with hydrogen gives hydrogen sulfide. So I am just telling you that what do you mean by covalent hydride? See, sulfur children reacts with hydrogen gas. So this is your hydrogen gas and this is your sulfur powder. Sulfur powder reacts with hydrogen gas to give H2S. This is a gas, okay, and this is called hydrogen sulfide gas. Okay, this is called hydrogen sulfide gas, and it smell like it means it. I'm writing its name first here. Hydrogen sulfide. It okay. It has a very pungent smelling. It smells like rotten egg. It smells like rotten egg. Okay. Now, what do we mean by covalent hydride? See, this is your sulfur atom and this is bonded to two hydrogen atom. Is it okay? So these two bond is called covalent bond. So these two bond is called covalent bond. Beta, there are many types of bond. You will study about these type of bond: covalent bond, ionic bond, coordinate bond. There are many types of bond you will study in your higher classes. Now you just understand that in hydrogen sulfide there is one sulfur atom in which two hydrogen atom is bonded, and these lines are called bonds means the energy by which the two atoms hydrogen and sulfur are bonded with each other. So this bond is called covalent bond, and covalent bond is formed by sharing of electron. You just know this. Covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons. Okay, between sharing of electron between both the atoms, so if I tell that sharing is taking place, so obviously it means that hydrogen and sulfur, both of them are giving their electrons, and then this bond is formed. Here also hydrogen and sulfur, both of them are giving their electron, then this bond is formed. I think now this is pretty much clear to all of you that why it is called covalent hydride. So this is the example of a covalent hydride, H2S, hydrogen sulfide. Okay, where sulfur is bonded to two hydrogen atom with a covalent bond. Let's move ahead children. Okay, now what is the and see, the nature of hydrogen sulfide is weakly acidic in nature, not very strong acid, but it is weak acid. Okay, weakly acidic. See, nitrogen reacts with hydrogen to give ammonia, and ammonia is the basic nature. Ammonia is what is the nature of ammonia? It is basic in nature. So just see, three molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of nitrogen together they form two molecule of ammonia. This is the way how we read a chemical equation, children. So here hydrogen is called a molecule, nitrogen is called a molecule. So here three molecule of hydrogen and one molecule of nitrogen, they form two molecule of ammonia. And please do remember this ammonia formula. This is a very important gas. Why it is an important gas? Because it is this gas is only used for making fertilizers in the industry, children. Okay, and this is used for various purpose. So basically it's majorly used for making fertilizers in chemical industries, which the farmers use in their fields. Okay, so this is ammonia, which is basic in nature. Next, oxygen react with hydrogen to give water. Fine. Okay, now we are so known to this water that we didn't even thought that this water can also be called as a hydride, covalent hydride. So yes beta, even see, if your oxygen is a non-metal and these two hydrogen are bonded just like your sulfur, so this is water is also a hydride of oxygen. Okay, so see water, and what is the nature of water? Since we are drinking it daily, so it is neutral in nature. It is neither acidic nor basic in nature. So this is how we have seen the three different types of three different nature of hydrides of covalent hydride of non-metal, that is acidic, basic and neutral. I think, is it clear to everyone? This may be clear now. If there is any doubt, then do ask to me. Now see children, let's proceed with this activity 5. See, I think this activity is also related to your one natural phenomena called as acidic rain, acid rain. And this I have explained you in the previous class also, but now also I am going to show you how it is proved. See, to show that oxide of a non-metal, that is sulfur, here it is taken sulfur, is acidic in nature. Yeah, we know that oxides of metal are basic in nature, while oxides of non-metal are acidic in nature. And how to prove this is this? See, what you have to what is there in all this in this activity I am telling you, children. You have to take one deflagellating spoon. So this is your deflagellating spoon. Okay, means a spoon which is having a small, means vessel like thing, in which you can just have some compound. Okay, what you have to do, you have to just place the sulfur in this spoon like thing, and you have to heat it in the presence of the it means in the presence of the oxygen. You have to just heat in your room temperature on the burner. And once this sulfur in this spoon starts burning, okay, if it will burn, then obviously it will release some gas. And when it start releasing some gas, when gas starts coming out of it, this spoon, what you do, you just take this spoon and insert in this jar. What type of jar is this? This jar is having see, you can see it is covered from every side. Why? What is the main aim of inserting this spoon in the jar? So that we can just means we can store the, we can just store the air which is, we can just store the air which or gas which is coming out of this. Okay, so it's our aim. The now when sulfur burns, what it produce and how it is reacting. See, when we have when all the sulfur has burned, all the gases is being trapped in this, we just add few amount of water. And how much it is written? 5 ml of water into this gas jar, and we just shake it. See, it is written here, shake the jar about one means, and we have to shake for some time, so that all the gases in this jar gets dissolved in the water. And after that, what you have to do, just add blue litmus solution. If we don't have litmus solution, we can just add litmus paper into it, blue litmus paper. What will happen? It just change the color, it will turn into red. And when blue litmus turns into red, this shows that what is the nature of the liquid. This is acidic in nature. And just I can prove you with the help of the reaction which you have studied in your previous class. See, you have studied that sulfur on reacting with oxygen forms sulfur dioxide. Again, it can form sulfur trioxide also. So sulfur dioxide and trioxide, these are two gases which when you will burn sulfur will come out. So these were the gases which were stored in the vessel. And when you mix sulfur trioxide or sulfur dioxide with water, when you have added water and you have just shaked the bottle, so in that case, while shaking, these two the gases mixes in the water and form sulfuric acid. So this is how your blue litmus turns into red because of the formation of sulfuric acid. I think now it is pretty much clear to all of you that how these gases, sulfur dioxide and trioxide, when they go in the atmosphere, in the above layer, in the means mainly in the above layer of the troposphere, or in the stratosphere where mainly clouds are there these gases combines with the water molecules suspended in the clouds and forms the acid. Not only sulfur but also nitrogen dioxide, which form nitric acid. So nitric acid and sulfuric acid, these two are main acid which are there in your acidic rain. Is it clear? I think now this is clear to everyone. Okay. So children, after proving that oxides of non-metal are acidic in nature, let's move ahead with the fifth topic, reaction with acid. Okay, see, non-metal do not displace hydrogen from dilute acid. Okay, this is one statement, just read it. Non-metal do not displace hydrogen from dilute acid. Why? What's the reason behind this? See, this is because non-metal are not able to give electrons for the reduction of H plus ion. Some non-metals react with the concentrated oxidizing acid to form the corresponding oxyacid. Sorry ma'am, we didn't get anything. I too, I have also not understood. See, just I am trying to make you understand in a very simple language. Do you remember the reactivity series, children? What was there in the reactivity series? The means basically it was a reactivity series of metal in which you have learned that those metal which are more reactive, okay, can displace the less reactive metal which are means they are which are lower in the series. Okay, this was the thing. So just you understand one thing, that non-metal cannot displace hydrogen from the acid. That is why the hydrogen means that is why they do not react with acid. See, non-metal do not displace hydrogen from the dilute acid. See, suppose just I am giving you one example. Suppose if you are taking one example of nitrogen. Okay, nitrogen, if this gas is treated with HCl. So this gas, nitrogen, is not having that much ability to displace hydrogen from hydrochloric acid. So that is why hydrogen gas is not produced in this reaction. Got it? This is the most simple way which you can understand. Because non-metal being less reactive than the hydrogen cannot displace the means a non-metal being less reactive than hydrogen, it cannot displace hydrogen from the acid. This is the one point. So this is the one point which you have understood, that because non-metals are less reactive, means non-metals are less reactive than hydrogen, that is why it could not replace hydrogen from the acidic solution. Okay, so this is the one thing, and that is why hydrogen gas is not released. I think this is very easy and this all of you can understand. Okay, the next point is that, see, the next point is that all of you know that your non-metals, see, non-metals are electronegative in nature. Non-metals are electronegative in nature. What do we mean by electronegative, children? Means electron attracting capability. Electron attracting capability. So electron attracting capability is higher in non-metal. Okay, so since your non-metals are electronegative in nature, so they do not tend to give electron, rather they tend to attract the electron. They tend to attract the electron from other element. So now you might be having question that ma'am, from where this H plus has come. Okay, see beta, H plus means your acids, your acid have the ability, HNO3, HCl, I am taking two of the acid. These acids have the ability to release H plus ion. Okay, sorry, to release H plus ion on dilution in water. So when these acids are added to water, okay, so they release H plus ion in the solution. This is the characteristic property of H plus ion, this is the characteristic property of every acid, that all the acids releases H plus ion on dilution in water. So if the H plus ion is released, okay, if the diluted acid is taken, so that diluted acid is already containing this H plus ion. So and if the H plus ion is there in the solution, and if you are adding one metal to it, just imagine you are taking one diluted acid, suppose I am taking one metal, suppose I am taking magnesium, and you are taking dilute, okay, diluted HCl, hydrochloric acid you are taking. So in this hydrochloric acid, what is present? H plus ions are there. Fine beta. Now this Mg means this is a metal have a magnesium. So this is a magnesium or metals have the tendency to give the electron, to donate the electron. So and magnesium have the, how much it donates? Magnesium donates 2 electron to form Mg2 plus, and it becomes stable. So this magnesium atom, it donate 2 electron to form Mg2 plus, okay, and the 2 electron which magnesium has released, these electron will be accepted by two hydrogen, sorry, two hydrogen ion. Yes, these 2 electron will be accepted by 2 hydrogen ion, 2 H plus ion, to form, क्या फॉर्म कर लेंगे भाई? These will form 2 हाइड्रोजन एटम. H प्लस मतलब एक हाइड्रोजन एटम. देखो हाइड्रोजन एटम के पास एक ही इलेक्ट्रॉन होता है, और वो भी जब आप निकाल लेंगे, दैट इज योर H प्लस, एंड हियर इट इज ऑल्सो H प्लस, मीन्स इट इज अ हाइड्रोजन एटम विदाउट एनी इलेक्ट्रॉन. तो ये दो H प्लस आयन एक एक इलेक्ट्रॉन लेके क्या बन जाएंगे? हाइड्रोजन एटम बन जाएंगे. नाउ व्हेन दे आर फॉर्म्ड टू हाइड्रोजन एटम, दे फॉर्म बॉन्ड विथ ईच अदर, और ये दोनों बॉन्ड फॉर्म करने के बाद क्या बन जाएंगे? हाइड्रोजन गैस बन जाएंगे. इसीलिए जब मेटल रिएक्ट करते हैं एसिड के साथ, सिंस मेटल डोनेट द इलेक्ट्रॉन, ये दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन आपके एसिड के H प्लस आयन क्या करेंगे? एक्सेप्ट करके हाइड्रोजन गैस बन जाएगा. अब बचा क्या भाई? ये एसिड का ये H प्लस आयन, ये जो हाइड्रोजन है, यही H प्लस आयन बनता है. अब भाई ये हाइड्रोजन तो बन गया, ये हाइड्रोजन बन गया हाइड्रोजन गैस हियर, ओके, बाय एक्सेप्टिंग द इलेक्ट्रॉन ऑफ मेटल, और ये बाकी कंबाइन कर जाते हैं MgCl2, ओके, sorry, हाँ, MgCl2, and this is how hydrogen gas is released, and this is the equation which you have read before. This is possible because metal was releasing the electron, and that is why it is forming hydrogen gas. But now what is the case with the non-metal? Children, non-metal do not release electron, they just attract the electron, they do not release the electron. Since if the non-metal cannot release the electron, so how this H plus ion will get the electron and they will form hydrogen gas? Now I think, is it clear to everyone? This is how hydrogen gas is formed, and if the non-metal are not giving the electrons, so this reaction is won't possible. So that is what it is written in here in your book, that reduction is not taking place. Reduction means when H plus ion forms hydrogen atom. Okay, see, this H plus ion, when it forms hydrogen atom, no, this is called reduction process. This is called only reduction. Okay, now let us come to the next thing. Some non-metals, however, react with concentrated oxidizing acid to form the corresponding oxy acid. Now, okay, generally we know that non-metal do not react with acid to form hydrogen gas or to carry on the reaction, but there are some non-metals which can react with concentrated oxidizing acid, not normal acid. So not normal acid, concentrated oxidizing acid. Okay, so what do we mean by oxidizing acid? Means those acid which can oxidize. Oxidize means can add oxygen to the to hydrogen to make it, see, to make it corresponding oxy acids. Okay, now I am telling you what do we mean by oxy acid. See, oxy acid or oxo acid, it is also called as oxo acid or ternary acid. Okay, these are the synonyms. See, what is there in the oxy acid? At least, means obviously oxygen will be there, at least one hydrogen, more than one hydrogen can be there, and one any other element is there. So you may be finding out very, means unknown to you, but you people know this oxy acid. So the example of oxy acid is H2SO4, sulfuric acid, HNO3, nitric acid, H2SO3, sulfurous acid, HNO2, that is your nitrous acid. So these are the examples of your oxy acids. Is it okay? So it contains one hydrogen, one any other element, and oxygen is obviously there. So now And what is the example? For example, sulfur reacts with concentrated nitric acid. See, nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. Okay, so it reacts with strong nitric acid to give sulfuric acid. See how? Means sulfur reacts with nitric acid here, and it forms sulfuric acid, plus nitrogen dioxide gas is released, and plus water is formed. So this is important thing beta, that only some of the non-metal, when they come in contact with strong oxidizing acid, means there is then there is a tendency to form oxy acid. H2SO4 is a oxy acid, and nitrogen dioxide gas is released, and here your water is formed. So this is, children, all about your reaction with acids. I think you people have understood this. Okay, if not, if there is any problem, then do let me know. Okay children, keep learning and keep growing. Thank you so much.